They called it the comeback conference, the moment Keir Starmer would cement his authority as Prime Minister and leader of a rejuvenated Labour Party. But what happened next has left Westminster stunned instead of uniting his movement. The event has opened deep cracks inside the party. Whispers of rebellion are echoing through the corridors of power, and the question many are now asking is simple. Has Keir Starmer already lost his grip on the Labour Party? The 2025 Labour Conference was meant to be a show of strength, a message to the country that Labour was ready to lead Britain into a new era, but behind the bright lights and polished speeches, the atmosphere was tense. Restless, even fragile Starmer took to the stage and branded Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, as an enemy, accusing him of dividing Britain with false promises and populist anger. Yet as the applause faded, the mood quickly shifted because the talk in the conference halls was not about Farage, it was about Starmer himself, according to Reuters. Two Labour MPs, Richard Burgon and Kim Johnson, broke ranks almost immediately, both calling on Starmer to resign. Burgon warned that if next year's local elections in Wales, Scotland, and the councils ended in disaster, as polls predict this could well be Starmer's last conference. Johnson went even further, accusing him of alienating the very working-class voters Labour was built to represent. Both comments were carried by Reuters and soon echoed across social media. Then came the numbers, according to polling company Opinium. Starmer's net approval rating dropped to -44 after the conference. Half of all voters said Labour had a bad week. Only 20% thought it went well. And among those polled, more people now think Nigel Farage would make a better Prime Minister than Keir Starmer, 31% for Farage, 26% for Starmer, according to Opinium. The lead for Reform UK widened by 3 points over that single week, while Starmer's supporters insist the polls are just a bump in the road. Others inside Labour are panicking. More voters viewed his conference speech negatively, 34% compared to 23%, who felt positive his own base still backed him with 45% approval, but the general public seems to be losing faith. And that is a dangerous place for any British Prime Minister to be, especially one less than 2 years into office. As the dust settled, another familiar figure stepped forward. Andy Burnham, the mayor of Greater Manchester, charismatic, popular, and unafraid to speak his mind. Burnham accused the party leadership of creating what he called a culture of fear and urged for open debate within Labour. The timing was impossible to ignore, according to Reuters. Some MPs are now quietly urging Burnham to prepare for a leadership bid, and whispers of a new Labour divide are spreading across Westminster. If you are watching this on England, Now7, pause for a moment and think, would you stay loyal to Starmer, or would you want a new leader to take the party forward? Tell us what you think in the comments below and subscribe to England. Now7, where every voice matters. Across the country, the polls suggest Labour is struggling to connect with ordinary voters. According to Opinium, public trust in the party has dropped 5 points when asked whether Labour shares their values. Only a third agreed. When asked if the party represents what most people think, only 29% said yes. And perhaps most concerning of all, 65% of voters now believe Labour is failing to rebuild trust in British politics. 61% say it no longer offers hope or optimism, and 59% think it does not look like a competent government. Starmer tried to fight back at the end of the conference, urging members to stop the infighting and rally behind him, calling this the fight for the soul of the country. He framed Labour as the only real alternative to Reform UK, and the Conservatives, warning voters not to be fooled by populist slogans, but his words were met with polite applause, not passion, according to Reuters. Political analysts in The Guardian wrote that Starmer's leadership style, once seen as disciplined and strategic, now risks looking cold and distant. They point to his growing image problem among working-class voters, once the backbone of Labour's power base, who feel he has drifted too far from their concerns and too close to establishment politics. Meanwhile, Reform UK under Farage continues to climb in the polls, tapping into frustration over immigration. The economy and public services, Farage himself says, Starmer's government has lost touch with the people, while he represents common-sense politics. According to The Guardian and Reuters, his critics dismiss this as populism, but the momentum is unmistakable. Back in Labour headquarters, there are reports of strategy meetings running late into the night, advisors debating whether to change course or double down on Starmer's message. One insider told Yahoo News that the party feels trapped between two choices: continue with Starmer and risk a slow decline, or replace him and risk chaos before the next election. For now, Starmer insists he will not resign, saying leadership means holding steady through the storm, but even his allies admit privately that the next 6 months are critical, according to Reuters. Local elections next May will determine his future if Labour suffers heavy losses, as predicted. The calls for change could become unstoppable. If you have been following British politics for a while, you will know this pattern well. Leaders rise with promise, then fall under the weight of expectation. Jeremy Corbyn, Gordon Brown, even Tony Blair faced rebellion from within. Now it may be Starmer's turn. The only question is whether he can still rewrite his story before it is too late. As the Conservatives prepare for their own conference in Manchester, there is little comfort for their leader. Kemi Badenoch, her approval rating remains stuck at -22. According to Opinium, only 18% approve of her performance, 40% disapprove even among 2024 Conservative voters. Fewer than 2 in 5 are satisfied. The opposition may be in crisis, but the government is hardly stable either. So where does this leave Britain? A divided opposition, a weakened government, and a public growing more cynical. By the day polls show that 61% of voters believe no party truly represents them. Anymore, trust in politics is collapsing. Turnout is expected to fall, and the sense of disillusionment is spreading fast across the country. According to Opinium and Reuters, Keir Starmer says he is fighting not for power, but for renewal to make Britain believe again in serious politics and steady leadership. But after this bruising conference, the challenge is greater than ever. Can he convince the nation that Labour is still the party of hope, or has the movement that promised change already begun to unravel? Tell us your view below. Do you still believe in Keir Starmer's vision for Britain? Or do you think Labour needs a new voice to lead it through the next election? Your opinion matters to us, so make sure you leave a comment. Share this video and subscribe to England. Now7 for more in-depth political analysis that cuts through the noise. Sources: Reuters, Opinium, The Guardian, Yahoo News.